I am muted. Thank you very much. Fuck! So as I was saying, I'm feeling a bit fluffy today. I'm not sure why I'm feeling a little out of it, but, you know, I'm working on it. Just thoughts and a vision on defining. Else that keeps my attention. I just about tried to use my phone instead of my tablet, even though they are very much a different size. Finally weekend? I don't have weekends. I stream every day, twice a day. Every day, every day, every day, every day. I don't know what day it is anyway, and it stresses me out less to just keep doing it every day. Yas. What's a weekend? That is an eraser. That would be the problem there. To take me home. How do I do this? Oh, I know how I can do this. I know how I can do this. Yes, it's commission. I can turn off that one. Yes. You inside, and as long as you know, as you know. Yeah, we used to have open commissions, but now our commissions are permanently closed, except for one person. The reason why we bring that up is because sometimes people ask if they could get a commission done, and no, we don't take commissions anymore from anyone but them. Because honestly, it's less stressful. Which might sound weird, but we run into a lot of cases where people are like, oh, I really want a commission. You're like, okay, what do you want? They go, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, get back to me, I guess. In the meantime, I really could use the money. Or alternatively, you say, okay, well, what would you like? And they go, I don't know, what do you recommend? And I'm just like, that's not how commissions work. You're supposed to have an idea what you want before you ask. And after a couple rounds of that, I was just kind of done with that. Like, I understand being intimidated by the prospect, but if you don't have an idea of what you want, that's very frustrating for the artist who is looking to, you know, get money. Potentially make content, what, from, you know, drawing. Hello, sirs! We are making much decor right now. That and the slime puddle always has the best and most coolest ideas ever for drawing.
This is not a phase, my dear. Time heals the moment, but our hearts were frozen, don't disappear. You were scared from not knowing, but I got a feeling that
I'll be ready for the rest of my life. Slow it all, little while tonight. Someday you're too young to know.
our attention is running, 5 seconds is burning a hole in our racing hearts. I wish we could find the space, a great escape, where we could finally break the mold. If it's us that we wanted, happy after the fall.
And I don't wanna change it all. I don't wanna change it all.
Tell me stories that I've heard 1,001 times before. I bet. Let me fall into your eyes all over again.
I'll be running for the rest of my life. For it all, I never wanna tonight. If the world isn't working the way too young to know.
Our attention is running, 5 seconds is burning a hole in our racing hearts. I wish we could find the space, a great escape, where we could finally break the mold. If it's us,
God, that is a terrible God. I've had profs and teachers like that. And it's like, where's the syllabus, which is basically the lesson plan layout, which you get when, you know, you go to college or university. And you're like, so what's the lesson plan? And they're like, well, you know, it's flexible. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I need to know so that I can plan my schedule around the requirements for the class. And they're like, you know, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I need to know. Because I need to know where I need to drop this course. And you're making it real hard to want to stay around.
I wish I could tell you that I want you here with me, but you'll never love me like the way we used to be.
And that might sound ridiculous until you realize that, like, there's a difference between a class that has, you know, a final, several quizzes, I gotta read 10 books, and a class where I'm going to have like 300 hours of homework. Especially when the teacher doesn't seem to have a singular fucking clue what they're doing or why they're doing it. Also, the other thing is, like, make a website based on whatever you want. And what if it's something that you actually find an intensely political opinion, and I was unaware of it? Am I gonna get graded based on that? Because I have a funny feeling the answer is gonna be yes if you're this disorganized and a shit enough person not to tell me what to do. Yes! All of the internal screeching. Oh my god. So, funny story. Story time. Funny story. Well, I selected a different color. I didn't select this color. I pressed on the button. How could you highlight and then not give me the color? A funny story. When I was in animation school, I had this prof. I had a prof who was like this. No syllabus, no plans, no textbook selected at the beginning of the year. But unfortunately, it was a required credit for my animation class, so there was no way I could drop it, even though I really didn't like the guy from the very get-go. He was really rude and condescending and basically... like, and when I say basically said, I don't really want to be... No, I mean, he quite literally said, I wouldn't be here if I could get other work. On the first day of class. That was something he thought we should all know. And his class was such an inhuman shit show that multiple students went to the dean and the faculty and said, this guy's a fucking idiot. You have to get rid of him. He's not teaching anybody anything. But apparently he had spent a lot more time in the faculty office basically saying, kids these days are so lazy, they don't fucking do anything, they don't ever want to work, they don't want to learn anything. So when we all came to complain about him not even having a goddamn syllabus, they were like, well, we hear from him that you guys aren't like even trying to do the works that he's assigning, so I don't know, we're gonna side with him. And everybody kind of like facepalmed and went, we don't have a syllabus. I actually went to my one prof, like, I went to the dean to complain, and he told me that, and I was like, okay, I'm a senior student here, right? I'm not fresh out of high school. I went and got an English degree before I came here. So when I tell you this guy doesn't have a syllabus, he doesn't have a textbook, he hasn't planned any quizzes, he hasn't given us any assignments that were actually written down or had any official rhetoric that went along with them, he hasn't given us a rubric, he hasn't told us what we're supposed to be doing, he hasn't assigned us or told us what's even going to be on the final exam. He hasn't even given us proper homework yet. He's not doing anything. He's telling people to sketch everyday objects, which is certainly not part of character design. And then telling people to their face, the only thing he gives them is a negative critique. And I'm not saying like, oh, you know, he's not nice. Not nice is fine. But he doesn't give anybody any positive words. He just tells them that they wouldn't be good enough to be at Disney and that we should quit now. And he's literally telling people in class, in front of other people in the class, to quit animation. And my dean was sort of like, well, you know, he's telling me that you guys are being really lazy about getting your assignment work done. We're like, he hasn't given us any goddamn assignments. But anyways, so after this went back and forth for over a month, well, 2 months. So we were all... He finally assigned us a textbook. The textbook was a book that he happened to... It was a Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes for the love of all that is holy. Calvin and Hobbes book that I actually happened to own and at home on my own. Like, I actually already owned a copy of it. So I already had a copy of the textbook. He saw it in the bookstore. There were 5 copies. There is 100 animation students in my year that he was teaching. Did he tell the bookstore to order more? No. Did the bookstore have the capacity to order more? Well, they didn't understand why there was such a run on it, because it wasn't part of any official curriculum, because you have to submit this is going to be my textbook form with the bookstore, so the bookstore will purchase extras. So otherwise it's just students making a request for a book, which they don't do, really? Like, they're like, well, you know, until the teacher tells us that it's an official textbook, we're not ordering an extra. Like, you know, that's money out of our pocket, and there's no guarantee that everybody's actually going to buy them. And, you know, we don't do ordering for students based on the fact that we can't trust the students are A, going to have money, or B, even remember that they wanted to buy these things. Like, and that's reasonable. So after fighting with him to get him to actually assign the textbook so that they'd order more, he was assigning quizzes from the quote-unquote textbook. And the quizzes were not redraw this Calvin and Hobbes thing in your own style, or not study character positions or facial expressions. No, none of that. We were just supposed to memorize the dialogue from the comic to prove that we'd read it. This was his big plan. To prove that we weren't doing any work was to see if we could memorize the dialogue from a Calvin and Hobbes book that only, I'd say, 10% out of the 100 people actually had access to. Like, we were photocopying it for each other, like, trying to do stuff, but of course, there's actually it's actually against the law to photocopy copyrighted work. At least it was definitely against the rules in our school. Like, you weren't allowed to just go and photocopy an art book and then distribute it among people, because that's a violation of copyright, because the author deserves to get money from the sale of that book. If we couldn't buy the goddamn book, and again, this is before Amazon existed. This is before, like, you could easily get something like that online. Online was dial-up modems, so we didn't really have the option to just acquire the comic in another way. And again, a whole bunch of us went to the faculty and went, "You have to get rid of this dumbass." And he was sort of like, "Well, you know, he's a first-time prof. He seems to be doing a pretty good job. You know, we're not really worried about him, so, you know, we'd appreciate if you'd stop complaining about him," sort of thing. And it's like, great, this is great. This is all so super great. Half the class, like, more than 50% of the people in this class are going to fail it because of this idiot and his freaking incompetence. So the day of the final exam, which was again just memorizing panels of Calvin and Hobbes dialogue, we really hadn't drawn anything. This was a character design class. Character design! The whole concept is supposed to be, like, from the previous year, my character design class was literally like, okay, I'd like you to design characters for, like, design a skeleton character. Show me how you would break that down to make that drawable, make a skeleton. So then we would draw different types of skeletons, and he would be like, okay, so, you know, what are we working with here, and all this other stuff. Character design is supposed to be drawing characters. We didn't do any fucking drawing. But anyways, the day of the final, which he was supposed to, like, 'cause generally speaking, when you do any kind of final or anything like that, you're supposed to get you get the exam directly from the professor. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So he was supposed to be there to drop off the essays and then sit through us doing the exam. Like, that's how you do. That should be considered fairly fucking normal. But he wasn't there. But what had happened earlier that day was some Pixar executives, yes, Pixar, were there, being like, here's how we did different things from these movies, and it was really cool. It was a really cool presentation. Watched it earlier that day. And he had disappeared. At the same time, we found out, so had the Pixar execs at the end of after this thing, because the Pixar execs were supposed to go and meet the people who were in their last year of animation because, you know, the whole idea is they come, they find people who are talented, they watch a whole bunch of student reels, and they learn about, you know, who's doing what, and maybe you make a job offer. It's kind of underhanded and shady because, you know, it's not like they're looking at portfolios. They're going to a school and getting good deals on students, basically. But that was how the animation industry worked back then. That's the underhanded, shady shit. That was just part and parcel of everything. So this guy has disappeared. The Pixar execs have disappeared. The fourth-year students are losing their minds because these Pixar guys are supposed to basically be giving them jobs today, theoretically speaking. They're supposed to be doing these presentations. Everybody's in a panic. This was when I was in second year. So all the second years are in a panic because our teacher is missing, and he's the one who's supposed to be giving us this final exam that's going to make up more than 50% of our final grade, and he isn't there to hand us the tests. So they're searching every classroom. We're searching every classroom looking for him or them. We finally all run into each other just as this asshole motherfucking professor comes running in. Oh, that's the wrong tool. Comes in, and he's got the Pixar guys with him, and they both look really kind of like harried and annoyed. And apparently this is what happened. After the presentation, he went to the Pixar guys and said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna take you guys to lunch. So, you know, come on with me, and we'll go to lunch, and then we'll come back after, and you can do whatever the thing is that you're supposed to do." They thought this was an official act of the school to take them out to lunch. Well, it fucking wasn't. And they're like, you know, guy, we're supposed to be back at, like, you know, 1 o'clock. We're supposed to be back at definitely before 1:30. He held them up until 2 o'clock, pitching his own fucking portfolio to them, even though he's not a 3D artist. He's a freaking... He was a live action, what's it called? Breakdown board. He did layout and stuff. But he did it for live action Disney films. Fucking moron. And they were like, "Yeah, bro, that's cool and all, but we don't need anybody like you. We're here to find students, not teachers." So they were so stressed out because, of course, he took them in his car, so it's not like they could leave, right? So he basically held them captive for almost 3 hours. Brought them back to the school, finally, because they were, like, pitching a fit and thinking about trying to get a taxi back to the school. And, you know, the dean of animation is there. All our profs are there. All 200 fucking students, 100 fourth years and 100 second years are all fucking there, all losing their minds entirely. And he, like, crosses his arms and he's just like, "I'm not gonna let you guys hold me back." Oh, sorry, I guess this was the second half of first year. Second half of first year. So all the first year students are freaking out at him. All the fourth year students are freaking out at him. And the dean of animation is so fucking pissed off at him. And he's just like, "I'm not gonna let you guys hold me back. I had to shoot my shot and you can't blame me for that." And the Pixar guys are like super cringe and super apologetic about this. And like, it's like, "No, this asshole literally kidnapped you. Like, please don't press charges." So, after all that shit got sorted out and we actually got our damn exams and I aced it because, of course I had it memorized. It's really not that hard to memorize fucking dialogue for a Calvin and Hobbes freaking comic. Anyways, so this idiot, asshole, motherfucker, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he's done. This asshole's done. He's done. They're definitely gonna fire him." Yeah, okay, I came back for second year, found out that he was teaching the third years, doing life drawing with the third years. And like all the first years go to the third year, or the former first years who are now second years go to the third years like, what the fuck? And they're like, I don't know. We heard the story about how he did all this shit and like made the entire school look like fools. Anyways, and yeah, it was the same deal as before. He was incredibly negative and like absolutely not helpful in like teaching people how to do things correctly. He was just like, no, this isn't good enough for Disney. This isn't good enough. And it's like, it shouldn't even work in animation in Disney, you fucking loser. It'd be like, what live action shit did he... Oh, storyboarding. He was a storyboard artist. What did he storyboard? Like, his claim to fame that he was really so fucking proud of, and the only fucking thing he ever really taught us, which was basically his portfolio, he did the, storyboards for a sequel to a movie that I didn't even think was that good. I think it was The Princess Diaries? I might be wrong about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was The Princess Diaries, but it was The Princess Diaries 2. Yep. Rotten Tomatoes is 26%, IMDb is 5.9 out of 10. He did the storyboard for that. That was his big ol' claim to fame. If you're like, oh my god, you're calling him out. Everybody in the entire world knows about this now, so it's really not that big a deal. Yeah, I mean, that was, I assume that was largely it. Either that or they signed him on for a number of years and they didn't quite have the ability to get rid of him, so they were like, well, we'll just put you with a different group of students that you didn't deeply negatively affect.
We're running out of options.
Running out of options. Took every precaution.
Now you're holding back,
I'm saying underneath your breath. Saying nothing through your hair.
I just wanna stop it.
I just wanna stop it.
I just wanna stop it.
Do you got me?
Where do you hide when you just can't run? Where do you go when you have no home? When you have no hope? What do you do when you're losing sleep? When real life doesn't beat your dreams? I just wanna know if you feel it too. Is it me and you? All alone in a crowded room.
All alone in a crowded room.
You don't know what I've been through.
You don't know what I've been through.
I don't know your past, but I would never claim to.
I would never claim to.
I try to understand all of you said that you can't take back. Making mistakes doesn't make you bad. I know that it's hard to do. Where do you turn when you need someone? Where do you hide when you just can't run?
Where do you go when you have no home? When you have no home? What do you do when you lose and sleep? Running around the beach. If you feel it too, it's me and you, all alone in a crowd. You know what's funny is I'm actually looking for him on IMDb and I can't find him. That's funny. Bitch, did you lie to get fucking hired? That wouldn't surprise me. Anyways, don't need to call it an asshole any more than that. He absolutely destroyed himself. He will never be hireable by anybody. Because, I mean, there's basically two major animation studios that put out animators. One is in Canada, one's in the US. There's other smaller ones too that produce perfectly fine ones, but the ones that kind of had the clout, like the big old ball swinging clout, I went to one of them, and that was the one he did shit at. Fell into each other. I know that love is a cigarette. I also may have the movie wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about it being The Princess Diaries 2. Your shit was burning in hell, but I still wish you well. I hope you're happy enough. Need to look at the description here. Tennessee, I'm so high we cried. We're meant to be, still got a piece of me, so loyal. I'll be on now, but all alone and moving on. I should have sworn in hell, but all you want is never enough. I didn't look him up by name, I looked him up by his title that he made claim to, and it isn't there. And then I looked up his name, and then his name isn't there either. So either he had a much smaller role to the point where he basically didn't, Oh, wait a second, I saw his name. Maybe. Where is he? I'll be able to confirm if I see his face, because it's burned into my subconscious. Fucking moron. No, that wouldn't have been him. Also, those movies were too big. You wouldn't have mentioned them. That fucker. He may not have actually been part of this movie. Oh, of course, I could have the wrong movie. There's another Disney movie that came out like 2004. No way! I was wrong. There he is! I found him! Not gonna say his name though. But yeah, no, it was a different movie. I was like, wait a second, isn't there a movie called Ice Princess? Yes. I found him! Fucking jackass. Fucking disgraceful. Hey, Kratos. How you doing? Yes, right, Kratos. I'm understanding it as that character, but my brain is just making me read it wrong. I'm so sorry. Now let's see how much of this I've actually drawn on the wrong layer. So many! Oh, that's what's happening. I'm like, why isn't this working? I'm erasing, not drawing. I certainly have never watched it. He definitely wrote his own description. What an asshole. Anyways, I can stop being mad about this person because I don't have to let him affect me anymore. Still vaguely affected though. Popcorns. To the party pioneers. We're the fight, cause we want to ride. Party pioneers. Vision's going well, cause we are the party pioneers. Party pioneers. Party pioneers. I just realized. Control copy. Whoop. As soon as I draw something, I'm like, oh, do I like it? 'Cause I feel like I don't like those.
Why they hold me back? Need a miracle to break me through, but I won't get back. If I was a real wonder, then I could save me from turning around, lift me off the ground, and one day I'm free.
Or do I want them to be smaller? No, they won't show up otherwise.
From under, wishing I could be somehow
Stronger now. If I can find a way, I don't think. Of the things that I be. Stronger, so I could be a real wonder. Wanna be a wonder, baby, until then, can you feel your heart? It's all been something I won't take for granted. Nothing will make it through. It's too hard to miss your face. So hard it was a mistake. Feeling to get up to you, my darling. Ooh, wanna be a real wonder. Wanna pick you up from under. If I could be somehow stronger now. I can find a way in the brain inside me. I get a feel of the things inside me. I could be stronger. Feel wonder. Way of the pain inside me. I feel the pain of the things inside me. Stronger, so I could be a wonder.
Yeah, love, yeah. You must walk on water, cause I'm drowning and you made it. Met you on the corner, first in love, it was payday. Candy colored nails, match the candy coated bands. I needed your contact, my eyes bugging out my head, cause you hot as shit. Nah, just she African. Not no bottom bitch, top notch out here. Love me like I love myself, love it when she smile at me. White teeth with a heart of gold, and I'ma put a diamond in it.
Ring, 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 ring.
Calling me,
Ring to the family.
she calling me.
Ring, 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 ring. I call you. I'll always have you up. It's down to this. Oh yeah, I feel it. Oh yeah. Love calling in. Love calling in. I'm just to call you. What? Yes, too.
When she round me, she come first and she quick. She say she feel my emotions when I just give thanks, can't believe we in the same bed. God do it best. Shout out to my angel, she a mess. Clean up when she stressed, never stressing me. Lucky please, I'm the luckiest. Feel it in my chest. Treasure you, I swear you a diamond.
Ring, 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 ring.
Calling me,
Ring, 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 ring.
calling me.
Ring, 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 ring. I called you.
And I ain't miss a call yet.
What's ETS2?
I ain't miss a call yet.
You'll always be my boy. Every Friday night when we hit the town, just to kill, to see around, and loving death, holding in the air. Oh wait, is that one of those simulator games? Ingot, show me what you care. Oh, Euro Truck Simulator. Why do people want to make us drive? We're so bad at driving. You don't understand. It's driving. Anyways. I wanna be the one that you never forget, don't you know? You'll always be my boy. You'll always be my boy. And that is fun, not just overthink every little thing, everything the same. Gonna stick I hate, wonder where you meant. On a loaded gun, at the heart. Always you can light the spark. I want a second gate, show me what we are. And you could tear my heart apart, it's still being yours. I just had a mental breakdown over when I realized that you're talking about Euro Truck Simulator. When we can't drive. And I would just jackknife the poor truck, and it doesn't deserve that. It doesn't. You'll always be my boy. You'll always be my boy. Call out that shit when you see it. Call it out. Call them the assholes that they are. Fuck that shit. Fucking AI art fucking don't want to pay an artist. But we'll use their work as a mashed up piece of shit version of it. Innovate with AI. Have you ever heard of the term oxymoron? I mean, I could just use moron to describe you, but you don't innovate with AI. You iterate. It's iteration. Iteration, not innovation. You don't create anything new with AI. You iterate what has already been created by real human beings. Poorly. Poorly. That's a killer. Oh yeah, no,
When your heart is broken, you simply cannot trust what your mind is telling you.
The fury in my heart over them taking not even really anything close to the gorgeousness of his artwork and being like, see, I could make a Gimlet art. Oh, fury. Oh, you're worried about retaliation if you tell them to go fuck themselves? I'm sure there's other people who are telling them to go fuck themselves. Just be one of the voices. If they retaliate against you, hold it against them. Students shouldn't be worried about retaliation from their university. Universities are there to teach you how to think for yourselves. If they punish you for that, what the fuck is the point of them? If they, can you imagine? No real spelling, random stuff everywhere. Ba 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 ba. Why did I put a flower there? That isn't where a flower goes.
When your heart is broken, you simply cannot trust what your mind is telling you. broken. You simply cannot trust what your mind is telling you.
I don't wanna know the truth. If it brings me solitude, I'm drowning into lies from you, but I can't breathe without you in my arms. I feel myself returning.
I mean, there's a lot of games on Roblox.
There is nothing you can do, but it's a dangerous game for me to lose. I feel myself returning. I'm holding on to what
See, there you go. You're not gonna worry about that. You don't train up a bunch of people to be free thinkers and then get mad when they start free thinking. Well, you can, but it's stupid. Merge with layer below. Merge with layer below. There we go. Success. We want lines. Erase.
that you could forget.
How dare you do the thinky thinkies?
And sinking in this feeling.
We teach you critical thinking. How dare you use it against us? Fucking funny.
Giving me the sign.
We don't talk about that here, Kratos. Or Kratos.
Making you look clear, but you're gonna leave me in my
Bro, you even knew. Am I using the right? No, I'm not. How do we get you looking right? Actually, wouldn't that look cuter if I did that the other way? Oh my god, adorable!
giving me the signs of
We apologize if we took this description too literally, but I think it looks cute. Bum 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 bum. Gotta keep us honest. You gotta keep us honest. Okay, need to turn off this layer. You know, I actually thought that for a little bit myself. I thought I found a game that was using AI art, and I was like really disappointed, and then I realized, no, actually, it's just really good art. You know how I figured it out? It's because I realized that the improper symmetry that I was seeing was literally a result of the art being flipped. When I could see it flipped around one way and then flipped around the other way, I realized it's literally that, it's such an artist thing. Where when you flip, it looks wrong. And because I was seeing, I was always seeing the flipped version of the art. I just was like, there's something uncanny about that, I don't like it. And then I saw the art around the right way, I was like, oh, you know, this is definitely not AI art. I mean, the artist should probably flip the art more often, but it wasn't uncanny because it was lit wrong, which is pretty rare for AI art. AI art often lights things incorrectly. It's usually the easiest way to tell, other than stray hairs being in weird locations and stuff. Yes. We are doing a satisfaction there.